This right here is Raina Gerson-Hare. Her advertisement on Yelp appears in the top position and gets her constant leads for her business. Yet there are many businesses that don't advertise on Yelp. What's the reason behind this, and why should you consider advertising on Yelp? I'm going to dive into this in this video. The reason so many business owners can't stand Yelp is because they feel like the review practice is deceptive, where the positive reviews get pushed down to not recommended and the negative reviews are always showcased. Let me show you an example here. So Architecture is a hairstylist in Cleveland. They have 4.6 star rating with 34 reviews. Well, you scroll down here to the recommended reviews, and what do you get? Of course, a 1-star review is towards the top. A 2-star review is recommended towards the top. And it seems like that happens frequently, that the negative reviews always populate towards the top. And when you scroll down here to this little section, there's 7 other reviews that are currently not recommended. Well, when you click on those, most of these always seem to be 5-star reviews, and this drives businesses crazy of how this happens. Well, because of that, a lot of businesses don't advertise on Yelp. Here's the thing though, even though it's frustrating to business owners, most consumers have no idea about this, and they are still going to Yelp to find businesses. So, the moral of the story, yes, you could be frustrated with Yelp, but you may be losing out by not advertising on Yelp. The first pro of Yelp advertising is high exposure on Google. And when it comes to whether or not you should advertise on Yelp, this is a major thing to take into consideration. So I was talking about the hairstylist client of ours, and balayage is one of her core services. And that's like a color highlighting. So when you go to Google and you look at the first result, well, that's Yelp, all right? And you click on the Yelp results, and Raina Gerson-Hare is the client who is advertising. You can see here there is a sponsored result. So when you do a Google search for your industry, if your industry is populating on the first page of Google, it's worthwhile to advertise on Yelp because a lot of people will find your business via Google. For our agency, Columbus Marketing Agency, you can see there's Clutch, there's Expertise, Clutch again, but Yelp is not on the first page of Google. So for us, it wouldn't really make as much sense to advertise on Yelp. In my opinion, Foodies, they're the ones that use Yelp as a search engine, where they're doing a search directly on Yelp for their favorite restaurants. But I think a lot of people stumble upon Yelp via Google when they're doing a Google search for instance, Columbus balayage, and then Yelp is the first listing. So it's just important to understand this process and consider advertising if your industry is ranking high on Google via Yelp. Another great thing about Yelp is it is super easy to create your advertisement. There's an ad photo, and you could choose your own photo or let Yelp optimize it for you. In the instance of Raina, we just chose a photo that we knew that was going to look good. For the ad text, you could write your own ad text. Again, that shouldn't take long. Yelp could also come up with different variations based off of what you have on your profile. Keywords, adding keywords is easy. I would say this is one of the most important things. You could add negative keywords and be very specific with the keywords that you add. For Raina, she specializes in balayage and gray blending. And sometimes like women's haircut is just very vague, and you can add negative keywords, which will increase the quality. For the location, you can target around an area of where you're physically located. So for the instance of Raina, we did a 15-mile radius. The goals are a little weak compared to Google and Facebook. Essentially, the two main goals on Yelp are website traffic and phone calls. So you don't have as granular of data in tracking conversions, but sometimes simple is good. And then the budget. The minimum that you could do is $5 per day on advertising. But if you want to set up a Yelp advertisement, it shouldn't take you longer than 10 minutes. The platform is very easy to use. Another couple of other things that I like about Yelp is that the cost per click is relatively cheap. For Raina, you can see right here for this billing period, it's only been a couple of days, but the average cost per click is $1.45. That averages less than what she spends on Google. Another thing is that if you look right here within Yelp, they pretty much always have a special offer going on. Right now, it's $300 in free credit when you start Yelp ads. So even by testing this out for a month or so, you get a credit and you could prove whether or not it's going to be a positive ROI for your business. So between the credit, low cost per click, two other additional benefits of Yelp advertising. Again, it is super easy to set up an advertisement on Yelp. You know, if you do a Google search and your industry has high exposure on Google via Yelp, it's worth testing out the waters for advertising. Again, for Columbus Balayage, our client, the first thing that populates is Yelp, and her advertisement then looks like this at the very top. You'll see it's a sponsored result. And by advertising, you know, you have to scroll all the way down here to get into the organic listing. So you have great control, you have great exposure. And for Raina, our client, it's generated her a lot of leads. And, you know, we still advertise on Google, but it's nice to have as much exposure on the first page of Google as possible. And Yelp allows for you to do that for certain businesses. My name, once again, is Jason Parks of The Media Captain. If you ever want to get in contact with me, you can do so by visiting themediacaptain.com. Thanks so much.